Yo, 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 what it do, family? High value basketball, best commentary on this side of the planet. You already know the drill. Like, share, and subscribe, you dig? Yo, one more time going in on Shannon Sharpe, man. Again, I'm just on this angle where I'm just growing completely unimpressed with Undisputed, man. Of course, we know that it's low key scripted, all the points that they talk about and how they have their debates and their opinions and stuff. But of course, every once in a while, sprinkled in with that stuff, they have, real opinions, real commentary, real viewpoints. And I'm sorry, not sorry. Like I'm really over, like I say, Shannon Sharpe, man. Like he's really just starting to kind of just get under my skin a little bit because I can tell when he's just doing what he's told and saying what he's been told to say, because it's just a lot sometimes. And he's doing it right with this whole Kyrie thing, man. Like for those who don't know, on Kyrie's social media, he posted a video, of some new world order, Illuminati conspiracy theory type stuff, from Alex Jones. And for those who follow Kyrie, y'all know he's one of those type of guys. He's a conspiracy theorist, aka woke. He's big into occult stuff and learning about ancient traditions and ancient religions. Like if you saw him on the barbershop show, LeBron show, very recently, he's openly talking about Kundalini and meditation and stuff. So, he's one of those guys. If you're from an older generation, you may not get these type of folk, but if you're, 35 and under, somebody who's on that train. If you don't know them, you know about somebody who's, on that side of things. And so that's just really where we are with it. And so Shannon Sharpe, though, man, he's showing that he's a part of the old way of thinking, which is, fine. He's from an older generation. So that's fine. I get it. But the way he be going in on Kyrie really just be showing how much of a company man and how much of a he's really with the get down and really with the get along. And I can't ignore that part of it because it's very demonstrative when Shannon Sharpe gets on TV. Again, because we're talking about television. Television, it sways the masses, it influences people. Like, again, I ain't even finna go in the whole Kyrie Illuminati route, but just in general, anybody with common sense knows that TV is an influencer. So if, they get on the TV, and they start going on with some mantra about what something is or what something should be, the vast majority of the NPC people, NPCs, the non-playable characters, the fuzzies, the wuggies, the followers, the dummies, the people who don't know no better, they're just gonna believe whatever is said on the television, And with this whole Shannon Sharpe thing, like the way that he just gets on television and just demonstratively denounces everything about Kyrie and tries to assassinate his character and again, come on with these particular angles. Like say, he went so hardcore on Kyrie about this daggone jibby jab. Like, and the way that he went in on him didn't even make a lot of sense to me because, again, especially where we are with this whole thing with the, that whole, I'll just say the sickness. Let's just call it that. The sickness, y'all know what I'm talking about. Where we are with it right now, it's already been on the same news, on the same TV that, if you got injected for the sickness, that injection didn't necessarily, we're in a space to where they now know that getting injected for the sickness, you didn't necessarily have to jump through all of those hoops because going through some natural immunization, whatever, bloogity blah, I don't know, I'm not a medical professional, but they just simply confirmed on the TV that all of this rigmarole that we did about, getting injected was not wholeheartly, imperatively, God-forsakenly necessary how they was doing it before. Okay. And that's all, that is the fact now. And, that kind of technically, always has been whatever, like I said, I ain't trying to get into it too deep, but we simply know that Kyrie, for whatever it's worth, him and his own personal choice, his own personal personhood, he was not gonna take it. And that's simply just what it was. And the thing about it, for me, with how they just went in on him so much, is why did they choose him? because Kyrie wasn't the only player hesitant and resistant, and he wasn't the only player who did not take it, and he was basically the only player in the NBA who did not take it and then did not get to play that much. There are other players in the NBA that did not take it and they got to play. And for whatever reason, the folks behind the TV never made any commentary about that. They never talked about that. All they did was try to run Kyrie into the freaking ground. And a part of the reason why they ran Kyrie into the ground was, one, of course, he took that stance, but also because of his stances that he takes on these conspiracy theories. His conspiracy, again, I'm not saying he's right, but one thing I do understand about folks, who have the conspiracy theory mindset, whether they tinfoil hat or not, the things that they have their theories about, these are the things that if they are actually right about, they undermine or undo a lot of the fake reality that we live in. The reality that we live in, this matrix that we live in, for better or for worse, it is propped up on artificial means of greatness. We're not just in this wonderful time that we're in because things are just so wonderful. There are many potholes, many pitfalls, many lost lives, and a whole bunch of corruption and a whole bunch of other stuff that never gets talked about, that has us in the position of this first world country and all this modernity and that we're in. And the conspiracy theorist people are the ones who basically, for whatever it's worth, they hold information that say, hey, if the people find out what's actually going on, how you see the world has to actually change because the world isn't what you think it is. And so just with that basic ethos there, let's not get into the ins and outs of it. Just that basic kind of worldview. I'm not surprised that someone like a Shannon Sharpe gets used to be put on TV to hammer that worldview into the ground and to make it look as silly and as ridiculous and as retarded as possible, to denounce everything about it, to make sure that no matter how valid some of those points may potentially be, that Shannon Sharpe is going to get on there and just make the whole person feel like he's a fool. They're not going to talk about the points that he's making necessarily. They're not going to talk about the theories necessarily. They're not going to talk about the worldview and where it came from necessarily. But they are going to assassinate that person's character. They are going to try to make that person look stupid. They are going to try to make that person seem like they're crazy. Didn't Shannon Sharpe do that about the team with the injection? And going back to that, that's the whole thing I was talking about. This man was like saying, hey, and I feel I'm in a similar kind of boat, not the same. I refused because I'm like, yo, I don't know what's in this. Like, based on the whole standards of what his medical precedent is, whenever they have some new global, this is what the new, thing is to take, there's supposed to be years of research and years of testing. That crap rolled out in months. So just on a basic kind of thing like that, I was like, no, like, let's not even get into the deep part. Just that. I'm like, no, I'm straight because I don't know what that is, how y'all done figured out what the cure is and that fast. But for everything else, y'all can't figure nothing out, or it takes 18 months, or it takes 3 years. But this, y'all roll this out in 5 days. Nah. So because of that, and because there's a lot of people, a lot of Americans, a lot of people across the whole United States, across the globe, who had that same basic mentality, Shannon Sharpe gonna get on television and try to assassinate the man's character because he's like, you need to sacrifice for the team. You need to sacrifice for your fellow teammates. Bro, this is basketball we talking about here. It's a child's game used to entertain the masses so that the masses are lulled to sleep so that they can be just that much more comfortable with the shaft that is being given to them by the powers that be. That, what I just said, is not an actual conspiracy theory at all. It's written in the books. That's actually literally written in the books. Sports is made to pacify people. So, of course, when a player isn't gonna just roll with the punches and say, hey, yeah, I'm rolling with the whole punches and I'm gonna make sure that we out here pacifying people. One player spoke up and said, yo, I don't know about this shit. I ain't with this shit. And here comes Shannon Sharpe trying to assassinate everything about the man and then frame it around the team. Like, so this man was like, yo, I'm not finna participate with this, and I will deal with the necessary consequences of not actually playing, which is what real men do. Let's like just remove context. You know what the choices that you have made, and you realize the consequences that come along with it. So for him, it was not playing. So the man didn't play. And instead of you just saying, hey, I may not agree with, that, but hey, at least he's not playing. He's made his decision. No, they try to destroy him for not playing, as if him playing was going to be some actual detriment to the country or some ish. Like he's vacating his presidency or some weird shit. Like, dude, he's a basketball player. Like, what are we talking about? And so with that same thing, it runs. Y'all can't see that shit is weird. That's the only reason I'm doing this video. Like, y'all can't see this shit is a little just fucking weird. Like, they're singling out this man every time he says anything that pokes holes, in modernity, and they find somebody to speak on it and make the man seem like he's plumb crazy. Just discredit the man's everything. And Shannon Sharpe is, I don't know what his drill is, but Shannon Sharpe is getting used like a pawn to get up there and assassinate that man's character. Because I don't know if Shannon Sharpe agrees or doesn't agree, but his whole angle about that team stuff and all of that, if that's his actual angle, then yes, he is the perfect pawn. Because he clearly doesn't see a bigger picture and clearly doesn't give a crap about the actual people involved. And that the people involved, like I said, these aren't $40 million slaves, yo. Like, and I know that's a triggering word for some listeners because they be like, these aren't slaves, they're rich. $40 million slaves. It's an actual book. Go look it up and read it. They're not saying people are actually slaves to the emotional people. It's talking about these people are being put into glass houses and they get their lives deconstructed. Of course, for the price of $40 million, yeah, you need to be put under a fine-tooth comb, so to speak, for people's consumption because you're an entertainer. But just the general basic ethos of, like I say, the $40 million slave is this shit. When the Kyrie doesn't want to play and then people are all jumping down his throat like they own him and like he's indebted to them to go play because they need to see him on TV. That whole thing. And so seeing Shannon Sharpe go in that direction, especially over something that's like conspiracy theory related, I just find it way too right in line with the type of stuff that keeps conspiracy theories alive. Because in the same thing, when Kyrie dropped the video about Alex Jones and this, that, and the third, and the New World Order and blah, 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 the talking points that Shannon gave up totally sidestepped everything about why Kyrie even put it up there, and they went straight into character assassination. And even with the whole Alex Jones thing, they didn't talk about anything about what actually Kyrie posted, and they went into a character assassination about Alex Jones and his bad take about the whole I think Sandy Hook, I believe. Don't quote me on that because I ain't trying to be no journalist reporter on none of this shit because I don't want my page demonetized. Hell, I ain't even got the bitch monetized yet. On the road to monetization. I ain't trying to have this video flagged. I'm just simply saying that they did the exact same thing. They did character assassination, and they don't even talk about not say facts, but they don't even talk about what was put out. None of that gets talked about. They just go straight to character assassination. And for me, that shows signs that they're pointing and they're trying to misdirect because something else is going on. And that's all I got to say. High value basketball. Like, share, and subscribe. See y'all next time.